Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here for today's video. We got a pretty chill video out here, man. We got trades to get the NBA top 10 stars over the top. This is an article by Bleacher Report. I thought it'd be fun to go through this and kind of like grade the trades to see if it makes sense. So yeah, let me know, guys, what your grades are in the comment section below. Let me know if these trades are good, if they're bad. Give me your thoughts and opinions. And also, man, I think for this video, I want to do like goal, guys. I always say 1,000 likes. I think this video, man, can you all help me get to 3,000 likes, guys? You'll just make my Sunday, guys. If we can get this one to 3,000 likes, would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And then, as always, man, check out the second channel, Extra Crispy, for daily NBA content over there if you're not subscribed. But yeah, man, here we go. First, it's going to be interesting to see who the top 10 stars of the NBA is, according to Bleacher Report, on top of the trades that hopefully are good, man, because, you know, sometimes these trades are not always fair. I mean, I would say more times than not, when you trade for a superstar or you do some sort of trade in general, there's typically a winner and a loser. It's never really 50-50 split because talent like that just is not, you know, does not really equate in trades. So these are the 10 players. I see Chris Middleton, who, you know, Bleacher Report does have as a top. Wait, this is kind of weird, actually. So you have Giannis on here, but you have Chris Middleton. So, oh, this was based off of the top 10 of their list, which I actually did a reaction to on my second channel, Extra Crispy, guys. But it's kind of weird because, like, if you have Middleton, does that mean you're going to trade Giannis and vice versa? Because both those guys are going to, you know, either get hurt or they are going to excel because of the trade, right? Here we go, man. We got Jimmy Butler. Miami adds a playmaker. So this is a trade of Iguodala and a 2020 first-round pick for Spencer Dinwiddie and Zanan Musa, I think is how you say his name. Okay, so for the Miami Heat, this trade is an A+, because it's not going to be a lottery pick, because obviously the Miami Heat are going to be in the playoffs. Andre Iguodala, like, not only because this contract he's on currently is like a 2-year, $30 million contract, $15 million a season. I think he has a player option, might be a team option on that second year, which is coming up after the season, of course. So, I mean, the Miami Heat just kind of like, they traded, what was it, Justice Winslow for Iguodala or something like that. I think there's some other moving pieces in there too. And for the hopes that he was going to help this season. Now, that could still be the case now that the season's actually going to finish out in the playoffs and stuff. But for the most part, like, Iguodala is not the same player. That guy is getting very old. There's a lot of salary cap. So not only did they get out of his contract, but Dinwiddie has a very friendly deal, guys. It's like a 3-year, $10 million per season contract. We all know when Kyrie was out, he's one of the best point guards, you know. Well, he was playing like one of the best point guards in the NBA, I should say. I'm not saying he is the best point guard, but he was playing like a top point guard and stuff. But also, I love the idea of Dinwiddie starting for the Miami Heat and then Kendrick Nunn being used as like the new like Lou Williams microwavable type of player off the bench that's just going to come out and get you like 16 points a game. I really think that's a good role for Chris. Oh man, oh my god, I literally just said his name. How did I? Oh wait, Chris Nunn. Chris Dunn? What is his name? Wow, bro. I literally Kendrick Nunn. Cause oh my god, cause it's so close to like Chris Dunn, Kendrick Nunn. I was like, that's not correct. I was like, oh my god, okay, my bad, guys. If I already mispronounced it, I do apologize. But no, this is definitely an A+ trade for the Miami Heat. As far as the Nets go, it's like a D- because you're trading for a 36-year-old Iguodala. First round pick's always nice. But Spencer Dinwiddie, I think, is the real deal. Okay, next up, we got Portland breaks up its core. Okay, so this is going to be, ooh, damn. Okay, we got quite the trade. Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum on Fernie Simons and a 2021 first-round pick. Okay, this is actually a pretty solid trade for the Portland Trailblazers. I do think Ben Simmons is one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. Now, I guess what gets a little interesting with it is that, you know, Ben Simmons obviously does play point guard for the 76ers, so he is going to have to play the small forward or power forward position, which I think is completely fine. I actually think he can transition to that very nicely. It's just the odd part about it is, you know, you look at, for example, the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, Giannis plays power forward but handles the ball a lot. And Eric Bledsoe, you know, and Chris Middleton play off ball and stuff like that. But that's a strength. Now, in this case, Damian is one of the best offensive players in the NBA, so I think if you still run things through Ben Simmons, it's going to work out nicely. But the issue is, like, when the ball's in Damian's hands, you know, is Ben Simmons going to be able to be utilized to his full potential out there? So I think you could get a little bit of chemistry issues with that. But at the same time, I feel like CJ McCollum is too similar to the style of play to Damian Lillard, where you just don't need like a second I hate using this term because it's not really the case, but a Walmart Damian Lillard. CJ is not that. He's a great player, but just like it's the same type of skill set, just not as good as Damian, obviously, because Damian is a top point guard in the NBA, right? So it's interesting. I like the idea of CJ and Simmons going over to the 76ers. Now, I don't think Simmons could be like the starting point guard for the 76ers because he's just not that type of player yet, but CJ alongside Joel Embiid's nice. Then all of a sudden you have that point guard spot open, which, you got to go out there and replace Ben Simmons at that. But it could be interesting. I think it's a solid trade for both sides. The first round pick's always nice too. I'm going to give this one I'm going to probably say a B+. It's not quite A or A- just because of the potential chemistry issues. But defensively, Ben Simmons, with the wing and stuff, would be phenomenal. So I do like the trade for both sides. Now, as far as 76ers, same range. I mean, replacing Ben Simmons with CJ getting a good young point guard and a draft pick, that's pretty solid. Okay, next up we got Denver's big three. So this is going to be Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., Keta Bates-Diop, and a 2021 first-round pick for Bradley Beal. Okay. This is an A trade for both sides. The reason it's an A trade for the Denver Nuggets is because they get a solidified near 30-point per game shooting guard in Bradley Beal. That is your big three. To me, Beal is the missing piece for the Denver Nuggets. I like Jamal Murray. I like him more as a third option on a championship team. I just feel like, Beal would take a lot of pressure off him, and Murray would still be a great point guard because of it. Then obviously you got Jokic out there, who's one of the top, if not the best center in the NBA. But meanwhile, what do you get on the Washington Wizards side of things? Well, you get Gary Harris, who could be your starting shooting guard. Defensively, he's okay. I mean, and that's what the Washington Wizards need, is better defensive players. But you also get Michael Porter Jr., which he does have star potential. So I'm just imagining a team, a lineup going forward of John Wall, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr. with Rui Hachimura. That's pretty interesting, assuming that John Wall does come back and he's pretty healthy outside of his injuries. And, of course, a first-round pick always helps a team that's kind of in a rebuild. Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I feel like this is really a material for both sides, a really solid trade. You guys let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this one. Okay, next, we do got Dallas empties the cupboard. So we're getting crazy here, man. We got a trade of Maxi Kleber, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson, a 2020 first-round pick, a 2025 first-round pick, and a 2020 second-round pick for Rudy Gobert. Okay. So for me personally, this is like a D. Rudy Gobert is a great defensive player. Offensively, he's limited, but he can still get you some points around the basket and catch lobs and things like that. I just don't think he's what's really needed for the Dallas Mavericks to take the next level up. Obviously, Luka is a top player. He's going to be a top player for many years to come. Kristaps Porzingis is finally returning to form. But what I like about the Dallas Mavericks is that you have these two players, but it's all the depth around him. By doing this trade, you are trading a whole bunch of depth, a whole bunch of draft picks for a guy that, I guess is going to help you defensively, but he's also a max contract player. What is he, Supermax? Or is he looking for the Supermax? Whatever it is. As opposed to them just getting your basic Kevon Looney or somebody like that at the center spot, which I think is completely fine. Or Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell, I think, was actually one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA. I like him, just at the center spot. I would much rather, them keep these guys, and then once free agency hits either 2020 or 2021's offseason, go for a star wing player. I feel like that's kind of the way to go. Like I said, I do like Jalen Brunson a lot too. I do think he has a future as a starting point guard, if not a really good backup point guard in the NBA. Rudy Gobert's great, just not really needed. I just think it's kind of a waste paying that much money for a guy that, is going to be good defensively, but outside of that is pretty limited on other aspects of the court. I know the analytics love Rudy Gobert. Just based off this era of basketball, a little bit too much for my starting center. Okay, I'd much rather actually see them go for an Andre Drummond, and try to get him on a pretty good deal, like a Clint Capella, somebody like that. As far as the trade goes, I said it was in the D range. Yeah, fair enough. Now, as far as the Utah Jazz go, assuming Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell don't get along, then it's a pretty solid return, obviously. I would say probably a B range. But, if those guys are getting along, it's okay, you probably want to keep Rudy on the team then. Okay, next up we got Houston gets a little bigger, so already bailing on the small ball. So this is a trade of James Johnson for Eric Gordon. I have never been so unenthused by a trade in my entire life. James Johnson has got to be in his damn mid to late 30s now, right? The guy, he seems like he's been in the NBA for a very, very, very long time. Now, at the same time, I do think James Johnson is a good fit. I do feel like he definitely makes sense in the small ball of the Houston Rockets. It's not really getting bigger. I guess by inches it is. That's what she said. But I mean, like James Johnson, he's still not really a center. I think, what is he, like 6'8", 6'9"? He's just one of those grit and grind type of forwards out there. So, yeah, I mean, can make corner threes. Maybe eventually he's a PJ Tucker replacement. But yeah, you're looking at a lineup of Robert Covington, probably PJ Tucker, and James Johnson. It's interesting. He fits into what they're doing out there. But I wouldn't really say it's getting bigger. Like, you're still running the small ball. Oh, by the way, as far as the trade goes, I mean, just getting out Eric Gordon's contract, I guess, is a pretty solid move. So I'm going to give it like a C. It doesn't really move me either way. Next up, we got the Clippers get even more switchables. So this is going to be a trade of Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, and a 2022 second-round pick for Aaron Gordon. Okay. I don't know how I totally feel about this one. I do think Lou Williams is kind of getting up there in age. You know, he's like in his mid-30s pretty soon here. Patrick Beverley's replaceable. Like, obviously, he's got that good heart out there, and or that good, like, you know, like heart just to like. He's gonna give you a lot of passion on the court and stuff defensively, but you know he could be replaced. Aaron Gordon, though, does he fit in with what they're doing on the Clippers? Me personally, I would much rather them just like keep like a Marcus Morris or somebody like that, a guy that can space the floor a bit better. I would be okay with that. I mean, Aaron Gordon's fine. Like, he does give them some athleticism. It would actually be interesting to see him as like a third or fourth option on the Clippers team. I'm indifferent about this one. I'm also going to give this one probably like a C+ trade. It's not bad. You know, it's not like they're giving up like a young Lou Williams or anything like that in the second round picks, whatever. So I guess just to increase your athleticism. Plus, they got other depth elsewhere. They got like Landry Shamet that I think could totally be the backup shooting guard on this team and do phenomenal in that role. Like, he could be like the next like Lou Williams for them. So it's like a C trade though. Like Aaron Gordon, I'm just so indifferent about him these days. He just doesn't really do much for me. He has got a lot of potential. Maybe he just needs like a change of pace out there, and this would definitely be it for him. And maybe, you know, Doc Rivers can definitely coach him up to be like a Blake Griffin or something like that, which I'm waiting for him to do, man. I think Aaron Gordon still has that kind of potential. We'll just see if it ever comes together. And as far as like the Magic goes, you get out of Aaron Gordon's contract, I guess, and you get a little bit more stability with the roster. So probably like a B- trade for them. And then last but not least, the Lakers and Bucks shuffle. Rarely do you see two like competitors like this trading out pieces, but this is going to be a trade of. Okay, so what did that have to do with like? Okay, I guess Chris Middleton and Giannis are still both being affected. It was kind of weird how they like set up this article, but Eric Bledsoe and Wesley Matthews for Danny Green, Alex Caruso, and a 2020 first round pick. Okay, so for the Lakers, that's definitely 1,000,000,000% an A. Eric Bledsoe is a very good player. He's very good defensively. You know, shooting, not the greatest, but he can still get it done. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that Wesley Matthews can simply just beat Danny Green. I do think at this point in their careers, Danny Green is the better player. But, you know, just like having that be your backcourt, you get a lot of good depth right there. You know, Alex Caruso, I understand he's the bald ego. I mean, he's fun. It's a meme. But it's a solid trade. Now, as far as the Bucks go, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, if I'm being quite honest. Because you're getting rid of your starting point guard. And I guess maybe the mindset here is that, well, maybe, you know, you could get something in free agency because Danny Green only has like $15 million. Alex Caruso does not really have a large contract. 2020 first round pick, you know, it's going to be like the last pick in the draft. But at the same time, I mean, last year's last pick in the draft was Kevin Porter Jr. for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Pistons actually drafted him, but trade him, as we do with, you know, good players in the draft. Chris Middleton, Spencer Dinwiddie. So I guess, you know, that could be like a diamond in the rough for them. Gives them a draft pick because, of course, they don't really have a lot because they traded a lot. Yeah, I forgot what the trade was. No, they got a lot of, no, they traded a lot of draft picks to get Anthony Davis. So, yeah, I guess them getting draft picks would be nice. I'm going to say probably like a B trade for the Lakers and like a C- trade for the Bucks. I feel like they could do better than that if they were to try to trade away Eric Bledsoe. But yeah, guys, that's what I think about all these. I think that's all of them. Yes, it is. What do you guys all think? Give me your grades in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.